Oh my God. You guys, we're here for the final day of 12 Days of Bizmas.
Woohoo!
I love the red. I was telling Kathrin before we started, she looks so fucking good in red. This is like, I think this is your new signature color.
I had to be Christmassy today for Bizmas, so that's why I'm wearing red. So thank you.
Oh my God. So you guys, we're here with Kathrin fucking Zenkina. Are we so excited for this? This is day 12. It's so symbolic that we're like wrapping this up today, the final day, and it's like new year, how to shift into attracting that most financially abundant year yet.
Yes.
Are you excited to be here?
And I have my mug. It says money is an unlimited resource and it is always flowing my way. So I'm prepped. I'm ready.
We're all prepped. We're all ready to rock. I'm going to pull this up on my phone too, because I feel like this is just going to be the most powerful, epic training. And I love seeing everybody jump on live and celebrate and learn from you.
Woo-hoo.
So guys, if you don't know who Kathrin Intro is, you're absolutely nuts, but we're going to take a minute to introduce her anyway. This is Kathrin Intro. She's one of my favorite biz besties, and she is, if you don't know, the founder of Manifestation Babe. She is a highly sought out manifestation expert and mindset coach, and she teaches women the right way to shift their mindset to attract every fucking thing that they want. She is a #1 Amazon bestselling author with the book Unleash Your Inner Money Babe. And she is obsessed with helping you realize your highest potential and breaking through your self-imposed limitations. Your bio is fucking epic. I had to read it so that I wouldn't mess anything up, because it's just so perfect. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Guys, Kathrin's here today, and she's going to be talking to us about how to create our most financially abundant year yet. So I'm going to sit back. I'm going to throw it to Kathrin, and she's going to lead you guys on day 12 of Bizmas.
Aww.
Love you, honey.
Love you. You're the best. Okay. So, good morning, gorgeous souls, as I always start all of my trainings. My name is Kathrin Zenkina, as Lauren just introduced me, and I'm just so grateful to be here. And I just freaking love Lauren and everything that she's doing. And we actually met exactly 1 year ago now, or maybe like a year and a couple weeks. And Lauren is just someone that I just found. I remember we connected specifically in like a corner at Date with Destiny last year, where I was having a really emotionally hard time. And I remember seeing Lauren, and we just came together. We talked through our shit out. She was going through something. I was going through something. We both made each other feel better. And ever since then, we've just been like, boom, like every time we see each other, it's as if we've known each other for a decade. So I'm really grateful to be here. Today, I'm going to be talking about how to create your most abundant year yet. And I was really thinking about what I wanted to share with you. And I realized that most of you who are in this Facebook group, who are following Lauren, are obviously interested in building a business, right? So badass business babes, and all badass business babes need cash flow to have a successful business. And it's amazing how many entrepreneurs that I've come across in the last 3 years of building my business who put money mindset on the back burner, on the back end, on the back seat, and don't make it a priority. And let me tell you, just a quick history of where I started my business in 2016 to where I am now. In 2016, I was literally living on my grandma's couch. I just moved to LA. I was completely broke, had no idea what I was doing, but I knew that I wanted to build a business. I had this calling, I had this desire, I had this fire in my belly that one day I'm going to inspire people all around the world to understand and to know on not just an intellectual level, but like a cellular level, a DNA level, that they can be, do, and have everything and anything that they want. And 2016 was my money mindset year. And although it took a little while for the finances to actually catch up with my mindset, I knew that that's where I needed to invest most of my time, most of my energy. I swear I read every single book. I went to every single seminar. I was just so hungry for knowledge. And in 2016, when I was just learning this concept around wealth consciousness and money mindset, in that year, my first year of just starting, I made $9,000 in my business. And the following year, quantum freaking leap, 600K. And now 2018 I'm ending the year at 1.6 million. And money mindset is just crucial, especially since we all need cash flow in our businesses. We all need to understand what we're doing with our money. We all need to understand how to tap into the energy and into the flow of money so that we can attract it and we don't have to work so hard. Because there's this entire paradigm in the entrepreneurial world where in order for you to have a successful business, you need to sacrifice things. You need to, put your family on the back burner. You need to put fun and joy on the back burner. You need to hustle. You need to grind. You need to have blood, sweat, and tears and all that jazz in order to build a successful business. And I used to come from that belief, but since then, since setting an intention of really getting into the vibration of money, and really normalizing wealth and really understanding how money is attracted and how I can start seeing it a different way and not just seeing money as this tangible thing. Most of us, we see money as just cash, right? Just paper, green paper, wherever you live, whatever country you live in. I know it varies, but in America, it's green here. Or we see it as numbers in our bank account. And that's it. We see it as this tangible thing where we either have it or we don't have it. We either work for it and exchange our time for dollars, or we don't have it. And I started to actually see money as a relationship. I started seeing money as if it was my best friend or my boyfriend, as I like to call it. And I started to see it as this relationship. And I started asking myself, how can I build a financially or an abundant relationship, a relationship of love, a relationship of trust, a relationship of faith, a relationship of joy, a relationship of just knowing that there's more than enough to come around. How can I build that? And instead of seeing money as this tangible thing and moving into seeing money as this energy thing, as this energetic thing, and we can tap into energy and it's limitless and it's always flowing. It's just a matter of how are you directing it into your life via your mindset and via your perspective and via your beliefs around it. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And I wanted to share just 7 money manifestation principles. Whoops, let me put my computer on do not disturb so I don't get notified of things. So I created a short little training. I know that my trainings are typically not short, so I'm going to be as clear and concise and as quick as possible because I know Lauren wants to do a Q&A, and obviously you guys have plenty of things to do and plenty of things to create in 2019, and I want to make sure that you guys are excited to just go off and really understand, okay, what happened in 2018, really reflect on 2018, really understand where you currently are and where is it that you want to go. And of course, the best predictor of the future is to create it, right? The only way that you can really predict the future is to understand that you can create the future to be whatever it is that you want it to be. So the 7 money manifestation principles that will determine how much abundance you will attract in 2019. Are you guys ready for this? Number 1 is, and this is one that I missed and I see a lot of people miss, is you need to get clear on where you're currently at. Now, I know that a lot of money manifestation teachers or manifestation teachers in general, or just like any coach out there will typically tell you that you need to get clear on where you're going. You need to have a vision. Where are you going? Where do you want to go? What do you see for yourself? How much money do you want to earn? What do you want your life to look like? What does your ideal day look like? Et cetera, et cetera. And that's great. And that's actually step number 2 of what I'm going to share with you. But most people skip the part of understanding what their current location is. And I see manifestation as a GPS system where you have your current location, you have your destination, which your current location is just understanding where you currently are. You have your destination, which is your vision, how much money you want to manifest, what you want your business to look like, et cetera, et cetera. And I see the universe as the force that weaves the path between your current location and your destination. And of course, in order to get to your destination, you got to get on the path. You got to listen to the path. You must be guided by the path. You must take action. You have to actually, get in your car and start driving towards your destination. You can't just expect to just teleport there. But here's the part that most people miss. Is a GPS system effective at all if you input a destination but the GPS can't read where you're currently at, right? If you want to go to, I don't know, a friend's house or something, and you're currently at your house and you have never been to their house before, and you want the GPS to create a path for you, that's, you know, the fastest path to get there. If the GPS might understand where your friend lives, but if it can't read where you live, then how is it going to guide you? And so something that I teach in Rich Babe Academy, how I start my money manifestation course, is helping all my students understand where they're currently at and understanding that this is going to be the unsexiest part. And this is perfect for the year ending, because right now in the next couple of weeks or whatever day it is, I think it's like 10 days left of the year, you have such an opportunity to understand where you're currently at before you walk into the new year. I see so many people focus on, okay, you know, forget this year, January 1st, let's go, we got this, but you don't even understand from what paradigm you're coming from, or even what physical reality you're dealing with. And what I mean by this, and just on a very tangible level, I see so many entrepreneurs, they get so excited to manifest 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, whatever that amount is, but they don't even understand what their current cash flow is. They have no idea what their profits are, what their revenue is. They have no idea what's going on in their bank account. They might be in debt and they have zero clue how much debt they have. They have no idea how much they've invested. They have no idea, like they understand that money comes in and money comes out, but they never really track it. And I see so many people get surprised when bills come up because they don't even know on what date certain bills are leaving. They don't know, you know, when money's coming in and when it's leaving. And so that just, like, by you not knowing that, you have no idea what your current location is. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs stick their head in their sand and they just try to hide, especially entrepreneurs who are starting their businesses in debt. And I remember I started my business in debt. I was broke. I was 25 grand in debt on my grandma's couch. And I remember I was avoiding my bank account like nobody's business. I didn't even want to know how much I had because I was always afraid that I would be in the red, or I was always afraid that I racked up even more debt and that 25 grand is now 30 or 35. And so I was very unconscious of my current location. But here's the thing. If you're unconscious of your current location, how do you know what needs to be changed? You know, you can be so focused on where you're going and you can be so focused on your destination, but how do you know exactly that needs to be changed? And it could just be the way that you spend money. It could just be the way that you become more financially responsible, meaning like you make your payments on time, you track something like your credit score, which when I started my journey, I didn't know how important a credit score was until I, you know, decided to get my first car lease. And then I decided to get my first apartment. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, like I should have paid more attention to this. And I can see how this is going to affect me in the future. So now it is my responsibility to make sure exactly what's going on in my bank account. And even if this, you know, brings up negative emotions of fear, of worry, of anxiety, I promise you, the moment that you get real with yourself and the moment that you really face what's going on in your current financial situation, whether it's really good, even if it's really good, you still have to know exactly where you are so that you can then plan on how you're going to get to your destination. You can still plan, you know, with every level, every new destination. When you get to your friend's house, it's not like your whole life ends. You have other destinations to go to. And so every time you set up a new amount of money that you want to manifest, you have to get to know your current situation. You have to know your current location. And I remember that the moment I got real with myself, first of all, it lost all of its power over me. Because if you're allowing your current financial situation to hold all this power over you, you're going to be so paralyzed. You're going to be in this vibration of fear. You're going to be in this vibration of anxiety to such a degree that you're going to be paralyzed from even doing anything. And it doesn't matter how much you journal and how many vision boards you have and the affirmations that you set up for yourself. If you don't know what needs to be changed, again, if you don't know your current location, how are you going to get to your destination? Step number 2, or principle number 2, once you get clear on your location, this is a beautiful time to just reflect on where you currently are at the end of 2018. You can then set up for where am I currently going? Where do I want to go? What is my destination? Okay, and getting really clear on what that looks like, and not just finding a number. You know, you might have a financial goal, which I'm sure all of you have for 2019. But most of you are just pulling it out of the sky, or just pulling it because someone else achieved it. Or you're looking up to a mentor who inspires you and you're like, well, if it was possible for them, okay, I'm going to take that number, whatever random number that might be. And most of you are not giving a strong reason why you even want that number in the first place. You're not giving money a purpose. And let me tell you, money loves to have a purpose. With every launch that I have, or with every financial goal that I set for myself, I always mention what exactly I'm going to do with that money. I am guiding that energy because I know that I am the master of that energy, and I need to tell that energy what to do. And so every time I set an intention of receiving a certain amount of money, I make sure I get clear on why I even want it in the first place. Because most people think that they just want, you know, if they have a certain amount of money in their bank account, all their problems are going to be solved. But that's not true, because think about it. Just having a number in your bank account is not going to change your life. And let me prove it to you by providing you this example. Let's say I deposit $5 million in your bank account tomorrow, and I'm literally going to go to the bank and I'm going to deposit $5 million. You're going to wake up tomorrow, you're going to have $5 million in the bank. But here's the catch. You can't spend it. You can't withdraw. You can't add to it. You can't do anything with it. You can only look at it. Okay, so every time you open your bank account, you're like, woo, 5 million, but that's it. You can't use it. You can't do anything with it. You can't touch it. You can only just see it, right? Is that what you actually want? Is it actually the money? Is it actually the number? Or is it the feeling you're going to get? Or is it the things that you can do with the money? Is it the quality of life that it's going to provide for you? Is it the amount of opportunities and new choices that you can make? Is it what you can gift your family with that money? Is it the vacations you can take them on? You have to give money a purpose. Maybe in this case, depending on where you are in your journey, maybe the purpose is for you to pay off, you know, these credit cards and plus these student loans, and then be able to take 3 vacations in 2019 and also reinvest back into your business. Be really clear on your destination and give money a purpose. And the stronger of a why that you have, and the stronger of a purpose that you give it, not only are you going to be more motivated to achieve it, but that energy is going to flow much stronger. Principle number 3, okay, and this one like changed the game for me. You need to build an empowering and trustworthy relationship with money, okay? Something that I think this started with a random book that I found that my mom bought like 4 or 5 years ago, and I thought it was so outlandish and so woo-woo and so freaking weird. But I remember I went to Las Vegas with my mom, my stepdad, and my ex-boyfriend at the time. We met up for Christmas, and we were in college. And I remember seeing this book in my mom's on my mom's like bedside table in their hotel room. And I pick up this book, and it's all about giving money a persona, like giving financial abundance a persona and making it your boyfriend. And the whole thing is like a workbook around how would you treat money if it were your boyfriend or your lover. Would you obviously act differently around money? Would you respect it more? Would you trust it more? Would you get excited when it comes into your life? Would you be okay with it leaving occasionally? You know, think about a relationship, right? You get excited when the person comes in, but when they want to go out with their friends, or when they want to go to the gym or something, and you start freaking out, that's the equivalent of you receiving money and then needing to spend it, or needing to pay a bill, or needing to reinvest it and recirculate it. If you have differing emotions, compare it to, for instance, if it really was your boyfriend or your best friend. And it's so funny because about 3 or 4 years later, it actually clicked in my head. I remember that example, and I remember asking myself, how am I treating money right now? And this is around the time when I had my head stuck in the sand. And I remember asking myself, like, okay, how am I treating money right now? And is it really working for me right now or against me? And I recognize that by me neglecting money and me not even knowing what's going on in my bank account, me feeling anxious every time I talked about money and every time I dealt with money, if money were a physical person, I can see the disconnect. And so that's what I did. I literally was like, okay, let me give money a persona and let me build a strong, healthy relationship with money. And so I literally train myself, because it's not like this stuff just happens. It's not like you just make a decision and then you build a habit within that decision. It takes practice. And I remember doing these things called money dates. So every single Monday, I called it Money Mondays. I would literally open up my laptop. I'd open up all of my accounts, all of my credit cards, everything that's going on. I'd open my, it was PayPal at the time. I was also doing, I was part of Beachbody at the time. So I would open up exactly how much I'm earning, exactly what's leaving, when things are due, my bills, my credit cards. And I would make it a fun date by lighting a candle. I would have, I don't drink alcohol very much. So it was like sparkling water that I had in the champagne glass to make it feel a little fancy. I had some music on, and I would literally get to know my boyfriend, my new boyfriend, Money, right? And so I'd take him on a date, and he or she or whatever, whoever, whatever persona you want to give it, they're taking you on a date too, and you're just getting to know each other. And it's amazing how much that has shifted my financial relationship, because every time I am feeling like I'm a little bit off in the financial area of my life, I go back to that question and I ask myself, if money were my boyfriend or money were my best friend, how would I treat the situation differently? And I would find that I need to be a little more emotionally stable. I can't have a love-hate relationship, because that's very toxic, right? It's got to be a relationship built off of gratitude, built off of love, built off of support, built off of trust. And trust is a really big one, because most people, they're so resistant to spending money. They're so resistant to allowing it to leave, allowing it to recirculate into the economy. And I built this relationship of trust with money, where I knew that if I would let it go, it would come back. And I'd always set an intention of, bring all your friends, let them all come over, multiply yourself, come back to me multiplied. And it's amazing what a shift that this did. And so if you've never heard of this before, you're hearing it for the first time, maybe it's time to start taking your money on a date. So maybe bringing it back to principle number 1, where you get clear on your current situation, is your first date with your financial situation, right? Principle number 4. This one kind of relates to the relationship one, but I wanted to separate it because this is something I actually started to observe and kind of learned brand new this year, especially since I've massively upgraded my inner circle. I've massively upgraded my friendships. I'm hanging out with more successful people than I've ever seen in my entire life before. And this is something that I've observed and really noticed. And so number 4 is take emotion out of the ebbs and flows. Okay. And what I mean by this is that I've noticed that truly wealthy people who are just so financially stable, so secure, they're just magnets to money. Like money cannot help but be attracted to them. And what I've noticed is that they are the most emotionally stable people when it comes to money. They don't freak out when there's a dip in their income, and they also equally don't get overly excited when money goes up in their life. And it's not like they don't get excited, because I've noticed that the overall emotion is gratitude. So they're always feeling grateful. It's like a consistent line, an emotionally stable feeling of gratitude. There's no ups and downs, or one day they hate money, one day they're freaking out, the other day they're super excited, and the next day they're not. And it's just like this roller coaster that they're on. I've realized that they're so emotionally stable around money. And this is something that I had to develop, because I knew you know, for instance, for example, I started practicing this really when I had to pay taxes. So this past year, I had to pay 2017 taxes. And for those of you who remember, 2017 was my first 600K year. And I remember being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this is like really scary. This is so much money. How are we going to do it? How are we going to do it? And then I recognized, oh my God, I am, there's going to be an ebb in finances for just a moment, or for instance, even when a launch doesn't go as planned, right? There's going to be an ebb. But the more I react and allow myself to be drawn down emotionally with this ebb, the more of a vibration I'm putting out that this is how I feel about money when it leaves my life. And so then I kind of disturb that relationship that I've worked so hard to build with money, where all of a sudden I'm going back into that vibration of distrust. And so ask yourself, how can you be more emotionally stable? And this is something that I've practiced over and over and over again. It's something I've trained myself to do. And it can get hard in the very beginning, and it is a process, but eventually you need to train yourself to be like, for instance, yesterday, Brennan had, he talks with our CPA, and our CPA told us, an amount that we need to pay to the IRS in, by April 15th. And there's a certain amount that we need to pay by the end of December, just so we stay on track. And this is an amount that's literally 10 times how much I used to make in my 9-to-5 job. And I just immediately reminded myself of this principle, and I was like, okay, good, awesome, great. And even though the old me, because I didn't come from money, you guys. I'm a Russian immigrant. When we came to the United States, we were on welfare. We were far below the poverty line. Like, money is something, especially to this extent, I've never seen anyone. I've never been friends with anyone. No one in my family has ever had this much money. And so I really had to train myself to be like, oh, okay, that's fine. Whatever. Like, I have to pay a check of that amount to the IRS. No big deal. And when you make it no big deal and just kind of like, okay, I'm good, money will be so much more attracted to you, because all of a sudden you're not giving off this needy, this very desperate energy. And you're always going to attract the same energy that you give to money. How you treat money is how money is going to treat you. How you show up for money is how money is going to show up for you. And if you're kind of like, it's no big deal, then money doesn't feel this attachment. Money doesn't feel this neediness or this obsession. And I found that the more people, certain people, the more that they absolutely need to have money, the less they actually have. And the people who are just like in the flow, just very, very trustworthy, expect it to come. They just expect it to come. They expect to be in that vibration. They expect to be in that flow. And so that's exactly how money shows up for them. And again, the general emotion is gratitude, of course, because what you're grateful for, you will, of course, attract more. Number 5. Oh, something I wanted to mention, just because it's written in my notes, is money is just energy, but the energy responds to you. So just remember, you are always directing and guiding. You're always the person who's setting the intention of how you want money to show up for your life. So even though it's just energy, it's not really that number that you see in your bank account. It's not really the cash that you see in your wallet. It really is energy, but energy needs to respond to someone, and you need to be the master of that energy. And going back to the up and down emotions, what I see so many people is that they allow that energy to master them. And so however that energy flows is how they allow their emotions to flow and how they allow their vibrations to flow. And you need to be in charge of your own vibration. You need to be in charge of your own emotion. You need to be in charge of how you want money to show up in your life, and it will always follow you. Number 5 is a really big one, especially for those of you who didn't quite come from money, like me. Number 5 is you need to normalize wealth. Now, the majority of society, wealth is not a normal occurrence for them. And to be wealthy, we talk about the 0.001% or the top 2%, the top 1%. And the more we perpetuate that language of top 1%, top 2%, the less and less wealth becomes normalized. And I recognized that in order for me to be stable in my finances and not be so up and down and actually have it constantly increase is that I need to see money and wealth as completely normal, like a normal daily occurrence. Of course, everyone has it. I have it. It's no big deal. It's always going to show up. And how I did this is, first and foremost, back in 2016, I felt so uncomfortable being around successful people. I felt so out of place being around wealthy people. I would put wealthy people on such a pedestal. I'd be afraid of walking into a Chanel store. I'd be like petrified of ever walking into a Louis Vuitton because I just had like this belief that I don't belong here. And as long as you have this belief that I don't belong here, then you're always going to create a reality of not belonging with money and not belonging with wealth. And some of the ways that you can normalize wealth that I have is just, this is a very, very easy one that you can literally do today, is go to a mall or go to I'm in LA. So for instance, Rodeo Drive, if you're familiar with it, go to like a very high-end luxury, just street filled with stores. Just walk into every store and just get used to being in there. Get used to luxury, get used to wealth, get used to money. And even if it feels uncomfortable the first couple of times, I promise you, every time you come in and you just literally inside of your mind act and think and believe like you belong there, and even like trick your mind into thinking you're about to purchase something and it's like no big deal. Oh yeah, $7,000 handbag, no big deal. Like that's what I would literally do. I'd walk into a store and I would just pretend like today I'm going to buy the whole freaking store, and I would literally, and this is something that I used to be so afraid of and I had to build up to it, building up to asking the staff to bring you things and just show you things and literally act like you are about to purchase them. And some people will be like, well, you're wasting their time, but not really, because by doing this exercise more and more and more and more, you're going to be a regular shopper at those stores anyway, because you're going to have so much financial abundance and you can buy whatever you want that at some point you're actually going to spend money in that store. That's pretty much what happened to me. A great way to normalize wealth is, here's just a couple of tips that I have for you. Joining a mastermind. If you're currently not a part of a mastermind, definitely join one for 2019. In a mastermind, basically what a mastermind is, and there's so many different ones, but a few that I joined is basically a group of other multiple 6-figure, 7-figure, and even 8-figure entrepreneurs who just come together 4 times a year and literally brainstorm and help each other out, and give each other ideas and share their wins and their struggles. And we just help each other out. It's like creating a new kind of friendship circle, right? Or a business friendship circle. And being in my mastermind, I remember literally sitting there one day and I remember looking around my mastermind, just like observing everyone, because they've become like family to me by this time. I've gotten to know so many people, and I just noticed every single person in that room is like either wearing a Rolex or has a Louis bag or has Christian Louboutin shoes, or they're wearing, designer clothes, and they own homes and they drive nice cars. And just like, there's just so much wealth in the room that I looked around and I was like, wow, I'm in the room where everyone can pretty much afford anything, like to an extent, right? And I just remember looking around and being like, wow, wealth is normal in this room. This feels really interesting how in this room to be able to go out and purchase something or make an investment or buy a house or buy a car or whatever it is, it's like a normal daily occurrence. And so I decided from that point on that I'm always going to seek out masterminds and I'm always going to seek out friendship circles, because here's the thing, especially in the media, and especially even in mainstream entertainment, like movies and TV shows, things that you find on YouTube sometimes, and, just the general like societal kind of like perspective of money and of wealthy people is very, very negative. Think about how many movies you've watched as a kid where the wealthy person is always portrayed as like a greedy person or the bad guy or the person who doesn't give a shit about anyone else and all they care about is money. And so if you would just become a product of your environment and you don't actually seek out to normalize wealth, and especially normalize wealthy people who are very kind people, and you don't actually get to know other wealthy people and see that they're very giving, they are the ones who are writing the biggest checks to charities. They love animals. They love people. They have amazing families. Like they're just the most giving people. If you don't actively seek out and find that out for yourself, you're just going to be a product of your environment. And believe it or not, you are being hypnotized by everything that you watch online. Like the internet is one big hypnosis session. And I always set the intention of creating a hypnosis session that's actually hypnotizing me into believe even stronger and healthier and more productive beliefs around money. And so I will always actively seek out, there's not very many television shows or movies, but if there's like a positive documentary I can watch, or inspirational YouTube videos or podcasts or audiobooks, just perpetuating that very positive wealth consciousness. Unless they actively do that, and there's so many shows on Netflix that we get lost into. There's so many movies that we watch, and it's great for entertainment. I'm not here to tell you to stop watching movies or stop watching Netflix or stop, doing things that are fun. But I just want to remind you that if you go deep enough into the rabbit hole, you will start to absorb the beliefs of whatever that TV show is trying to subliminally suggest to you, or you're going to become a product of whatever that movie is trying to show you, where they're portraying the wealthy person as a really bad person, right? Just a little something to think about. Mastermind also means hanging with wealthy people. And a lot of us don't know wealthy people, especially if you don't come from wealth, if our family doesn't come from wealth, and that's not where I came from. So hanging out with wealthy people could just mean on the internet. Like we have access to Instagram and to Facebook and these amazing communities like the one that Lauren has built. There's a lot of people in here who are all building on their wealth consciousness, and you can find someone who inspires you online, and you can just get in their energy and just listen, absorb their content, and just listen to what they have to say. Observe how they think, observe their language, observe how they act, and just get to know them even on a virtual basis will work. Of course, even more powerful is to hang out with them in real life. But that's where things like going to seminars, going to events, things like Platinum Partnership, for example, or masterminds, of course, just hanging out with wealthy people will just show you how actually normalized it is, at least inside of your mind. So I said that, and then celebrate other successful people. And this is a really big deal, because what you wish upon other people, you will always wish upon yourself, because the law of oneness suggests that we are all one. And so when you see a successful, wealthy person, celebrate them, get to know them. Don't hate on them. Don't be jealous, because everything that they have is possible for you too. Instead, be like, wow, a learning opportunity. What can I learn from this person, right? How can I grow from this person? What do they know that I don't know? Because, sorry, there's a fire truck passing by. Because obviously something that they know is leading to their success, and success always leaves clues. And it's so funny because the other day I was Ubering somewhere, because we just sold my car, my old Jetta, and I was Ubering to meet Brennan to go look at something. And in my Uber, it was literally after I just finished doing a training for someone's mastermind. And I was deep into this discussion around law of attraction and manifestation, how powerful it is, and how we literally create our realities. And I was pumped. And I get in this Uber, and this guy, we just start talking about what is it that you do? And I shared with him that I am basically, to the average person, I typically say I'm a life coach or I'm a mindset coach. I don't say I help people manifest their realities unless they ask me and we go deeper. And it's so funny because we just started he was just we somehow, I don't even remember how this conversation panned out in this direction, but somehow we started getting really heated with each other, where he was saying, this is BS. Oh, you're one of those people. You seriously think we live in the matrix? What is this law of attraction? He was just so stuck in his belief system. And then I'm also stuck in my own belief system, right? And I'm no, dude, you create your own reality and law of attraction and this and that. And this is all just vibration. And I'm passionate. And we're just going back and forth. And I ended the conversation with basically okay, you know what, dude, here's how I see it. If you are extremely happy and you have everything that you want, and there's not a thing you could want more, and you're so satisfied with the money that you currently have, the relationships that you have, the whatever that you have, then keep doing whatever it is that you're doing, because obviously whatever it is that you're currently doing is working for you, and that's beautiful. Okay, if you are loving your life, then whatever you're currently doing is working for you. But I said to him, I'm like, but if there's something that's off, or something that you could possibly want more of, maybe better friendships, better relationships, maybe you want to manifest your soulmate into your life, or you want more money, or you want more happiness, or more joy, or whatever it is, then there might need to be a different strategy in the way that you go about things. There might be a different way of thinking. There might be different set of beliefs you might need to adopt. Like, something might need to change, because again, the definition of insanity is you repeating the same things over and over again, expecting a different result. And so if you're happy, do you. But if you're not, and that's something I realized at some point, like, hey, I'm not happy. I don't have the things that I want. I don't have the successful business. This person does. Clearly, success leaves clues. There's something that they know that I don't. And the only way that you'll ever learn is if you put yourself out there and get to know these people. If you put yourself out there in mastermind, if you put yourself out there and start to normalize these people and see them as just people who are just tapped into a different frequency. They are just giving off a different vibration than the average person. And if that's all that it takes, if it's just a different way of thinking and a different belief system and a different way of behaving, then anyone can become wealthy, because that's literally all it takes. Wealth is 100% an inside game. It's like 99.999% psychology. And then the action that you take, of course, first comes from that psychology. So a lot of people are like, you need to know the right people, you need the right strategy, you need this, you need that. It's like, yes, you do. But when you're tapped in, tuned in with the right psychology, you are more likely to, first of all, see these things in your reality, because all of a sudden you start to attract things that match your psychology. And two, you feel a lot more empowered to actually take action. You feel less fear when you're making investments. You feel less fear when you are investing in your business. You feel less fear when you have bills. You feel less fear when you're dealing with money, and a lot more excitement because you got your psychology right. 2 more, you guys. So number 6, another principle is to build your self-worth to increase your net worth. And this really goes down to like how much you believe that you're worthy of. How much money you believe that you're worthy of will determine how easily, frequently, and effortlessly it manifests. And the only person that you ever need to convince is yourself. A lot of people get caught up in this belief that your worthiness depends on how other people perceive you and how other people see you and if they deem you worthy. But the energy of money doesn't care about these people. It cares about you, because it's about how it shows up in your life. So the only person you need to convince that you're worthy of money is yourself. And so a beautiful exercise that you can do is just write down as many reasons as you can possibly think of why you're worthy of money. I believe that if you're in this group right now, and if you're watching this, you're a good, kind-hearted, compassionate, spiritual person. Do good, kind-hearted, compassionate, spiritual people deserve money? Absolutely, because money is just an amplifier to that. And the more money you have, the more you have access to, the more you can give, and the more of that goodness will be amplified. The more you can give back to the world, the more resources you will have to change the world. And so write down the reasons of why you're worthy of money. And it can honestly be any reason. It could be like, I'm a good person, I'm a friendly person, I do my best, just like whatever it is. But you need to convince yourself, and you need to build up your own confidence and build up your own self-worth. Because if you miss this part, then you will stay in resistance to money. You will repel money, because all of a sudden money doesn't want to go to someone who doesn't believe that they're worthy of money. Think about a relationship, right? If you're in a relationship with someone and you don't believe that you're worthy of their love, you will sabotage that relationship. And trust me, I've experienced it myself because Brennan did not believe that he was worthy of me. For those of you who don't know Brennan, Brennan's my husband, but he didn't believe that he was worthy of my love in the beginning of a relationship. So this dude literally did everything to sabotage it. And it's not like he was intentionally doing, now he understands it's obviously on an unconscious level, but he was trying to repel me and resist me. And I got to the point where I was so frustrated, you guys, that where I was like, universe, if he's not meant for me, please get rid of him. Like I was literally like, please get him out of my life if he's not meant for me. Just do it because I can't handle this anymore. And of course, nothing happened. He stayed in my life. Now we're married and he's done a lot of inner work around his worth. And our relationship has improved so much because I believe I'm worthy of his love and he believes he's worthy of my love. And it's this beautiful synergy that a lot of you might be missing with money. Right? And so if you believe you're worthy of money, trust me, money wants to spend more time with you. And self-care is a big part of it, right? If you're currently working yourself to the ground and not giving yourself time, not, reinvesting back into yourself and your body, not getting regular massages or your nails done, or just even giving yourself some time off to just relax and chill out and zone out and read a book for fun for once. Again, there's something subconscious down there that believes that you're not worthy of money. And so you need to prove yourself and you need to prove yourself and you need to hustle and you need to grind and you need to work and never give yourself back love or any rest or any self-care. And it's quite the opposite. And you are your business card, you guys. Like if you look and feel amazing, people can't help but be attracted to you. And money comes from the universe, but it comes through other people. And so of course you need to build relationships with other people. You need to attract other people into your businesses. And the more you take care of yourself, the more you are magnetic to other people. The more that you believe that you are worthy, the more that others believe that you are worthy too. And so if you believe that you're worthy of your prices and you're worthy of whatever's in your bank account and you're worthy of money just abundantly, easily, and effortlessly flowing in your life, then trust me, other people will be like, hell yeah, you are. Here's my money. I want to work with you. And then the last one is a really quick one, but it's so important because I see so many people hold back on this. And I know that Lauren isn't one of them, and I'm not either. And it's, of course, the reason why our businesses have expanded so much in the last even just 12 months. You need to invest in mind-growing products, events, courses, and seminar. Okay? Nothing will make your money limitless like a limitless mind. Okay, so the more limitless you can make your mind, and I realize I just made the crazy, like I'm crazy movement, but the more you can just invest into your mind and create a limitless mind, the more limitless your money will be. And I see a lot of people just hold back from these investments. They get so scared or they think that it's not important or, oh, I already know this information. Oh yeah, self-development, personal development, whatever. But it really is the key to success. And trust me, repetition is the mother of all skill. I see the same people go to the same events over and over and over again. And I always ask them, and they always ask me because newbies always ask me, and they're like, how many times have you been here? Like this UPW thing? And I'm like 5 times. Now it's my 6th time. And they're always like, why? I don't get it. And it's just like, hello, like the more I'm in this environment, the more it seeps into my subconscious mind. And the more it seeps into my subconscious mind, the more limitless my subconscious mind gets. And the more limitless my subconscious mind gets, the more limitless my life gets. So money, if you want limitless money and if you want limitless abundance, you need to make your mind limitless. And that honestly ties with everything, because if you hang out with successful people who also believe, who also have limitless minds and believe in limitless abundance, and you invest in seminars, courses, books, and all kinds of content that just keep perpetuating that message, the more you are to believe it. And with that being said, that's how you're going to attract massive, massive abundance in 2019. And again, you guys, we have like 10 days left of the year. So now that you've gone through this entire business training, and I'm sure you've learned so much over the last 12 days where some of you are like, oh my God, I don't know what to implement. I don't know what to do. Oh my God, this is so much information. Take this last 10 days to just really pick what resonates, right? When I go through a course or a seminar or I learn a ton of information, I'm always asking myself, what's the one thing that I can implement right now? Or what is like the 1 to 3 things that resonated most with me that I can just apply, whether it's today or in the next week or in the next month or in the next year. Yes, there's a lot more information happening, but sometimes you're just not ready to apply all that information at once, because again, you guys are learning from people who have learned stuff over the course of many, many years, and you've just had access to, like, I don't know, a combined 30 to 50 years of personal development and business growth and etc. And so you have to understand that as life is unfolding one step at a time, it's okay to take things one step at a time. But take these last 10 days of 2018 and really reflect on what happened in 2018. Where is your current location? What do you need to let go of? Okay. What would you want to attract more of? What are some mistakes that you can learn from so you don't repeat them again? And then get really, really freaking clear on how much money you do want to attract into your business in 2019, and use all these principles to, again, get clear on where you're currently going, get clear on where you're currently at, get clear on where you're going on your destination and why. Build an empowering relationship with money, take emotion out of the ups and downs, normalize wealth, build up your self-worth, and then keep reinvesting back into yourself. And with that, you will build such a limitless mind and such just a limitless bank account and a limitless business. And that's it.
Yo, girl. It's so funny. I have to share this with you. I'm like watching the comments, and as you're wrapping up, people are like, no, more. It's don't stop. It's so funny. So Kathrin, when you were going through your training, I was taking notes of some of the questions that the girls were asking as we went. So I'd love to just go back and circle to that. Karen asked a very open question to the group. She said, how can you feel into that high vibration when you're already in a ton of debt? So the only thing that you ever see is the negative number in the bank account. And I'm very excited to hear your feedback on that one.
Yeah. So back in the day when I did see a lot of debt, so when I finally got clear on my current location, I did see a lot of debt. Sometimes I'd see numbers in the red. What you have to do in that point is go beyond the money. You have to start seeing abundance in other areas of your life. So I would immediately be like, you know what? My belly's full. I just had breakfast, which means that I have food. I'm, whatever time of the year that was, let's say it was winter, you know what? I'm not freezing to death. I have clothes and I have heat. I have a roof over my head. I have, people who love me in my life. And so recognizing all of the abundance in other areas of your life will start to raise your vibration when it comes to abundance, and just recognizing that where you're currently at is not your final destination, and you can change that. And you have to really empower yourself to understand, like, yes, this kind of sucks right now, but it's not going to be like this forever. And look at all the things that I'm already doing right in my life. Just like glance at it, be grateful for it, and just understand that you can change that. And as long as you empower yourself to give yourself permission to change, you will change, and you'll start to see little shifts. And it could just start with like an extra unexpected $10, or it could just be a new student in your course or one new client. And with each time that you start to see proof of the abundance, like I used to see pennies on the ground and be like, this is proof of abundance. Hell yeah, one more penny richer. And I would just get so excited. And as you just keep sending those little signals out, little vibrations out, it gets stronger and stronger, and it just attracts more. And then as you attract more, you're like, oh my God, this is so cool. And then you just keep going. And so eventually your situation will get better.
Love that. So you and I had talked, I think it might've been at Business Mastery in January. And I wrote this down as a question because I think it's something a lot of moms especially struggle with. When you say give your money a purpose, right? Give your money a purpose. Immediately people go, I want to pay off my husband's debt, or I want to buy this for my kids, or I want to do this for my mom. So can you just talk to the girls and bros who are listening also about the importance of like giving money a purpose for the things for you too, and not just for everybody else?
Yeah. If you don't give back to yourself, then you're going to feel zero motivation. Like you might be motivated right now to be like, yes, I want to pay my mom's debt, and I want to buy this for my kids and buy for my husband. And that's really awesome. And you can do all those things with abundance, of course. Like you can do whatever you want with your money. But I find that when you don't give back to yourself and you don't allow yourself to go get your nails done or go get a massage or even buy yourself like an upgraded sweater or just, you know, a new Christmas sweater or something like that, you're going to feel very deprived. And that energy of deprivation is actually going to decrease your abundance. And as long as you're not giving back to yourself, it's going to be this subconscious kind of resentment that you might not be aware of in the beginning. But I know I've helped clients before who've come to me saying that they paid off their debt and used all of their money, like 99% of their paychecks that they would receive from work, they would put into their debt and have just like a little bit for the food and for the rent and whatever it is. And she paid off all her debt, but she was so resentful of money that she actually went into deeper debt because she didn't give herself an opportunity to give back to herself. And the more you give back to yourself, the more motivated you are and the more excited you are to create more and more and more. And so something I did actually, this is something I talk about in my book, Unleash Your Inner Money Babe. And I talk about it more in Rich Babe, is creating like a percentage like bucket with your money. So as money comes in, for instance, I started with my 10-10-10 rule. Since then, this has changed for me because of course I have investments I want to make and like things have gotten a little more complicated in the best way, in a really good way. But when I first started, when it was just like I receive a paycheck and I got to do things with the paycheck, I made sure that 10% of my income always went back into my savings. So I was always seeing abundance grow no matter what. It's like an untouchable savings. 10% would go to me, meaning like this is the 10% that I would use on self-care, 10% I would use on upgrading something in my life. And then 10% would go to charity or someone who inspires me or a GoFundMe account or just like anyone who is in a worse situation than I am. Because you got to have perspective, and you got to have perspective that there's so much to be grateful for in your life. And the more I gave back, even with the few like dollars that I had at that time, I remember 10% of my income at that time was like $30 or $40. And so even making that $30 or $40 donation just made me feel so amazing. And I really built this, this energy of trust around money, being like, money is here to support all of us. Money is here to help all of us. Money is here to provide opportunities for all of us. So I want to set that intention and be the master of that flow and give it to someone else who needs it. And also there's like biblical stuff around this, like 10% tithing, whatever. A lot of spiritual people tithe 10% of their income. And I just wanted to practice it and just see what would happen. And by creating percentages, you pretty much, it's not like you fully deprive yourself and also not fully just throw all your money, right? 100% of it into self-care and then forget about your rent or forget about other bills that you have to pay. It's like really being intentional with your money and creating this rule that you never break allows you to feel back, like it brings back control back to you. So you are the master of money. Money does not master you.
Yeah. And that actually is a good segue into our final question. Brooke asked in the comments, she wanted to know, how do budgeting and manifesting fit together?
Yeah. So for the longest time, I couldn't figure this out, but eventually I came to this place, especially in the last 2 years as finances have really grown, where Brendan and I can afford so many things, but at the same time, we understand that we also want to pay our future selves. And so we developed this kind of principle called wealthy now and wealthy later, and understanding that your ego wants to be wealthy now and your higher self wants to be wealthy later. But it's not like by you enjoying wealth right now, you're coming from ego. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. Your ego is very attached to instant gratification. And so your ego just wants to spend all your money right now and be like, whatever, the universe will take care of it. But when you spend all your money and have this, like, when you go out and you buy something and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, all my money's gone, or I'm in debt now over that thing, you are then in a much lower place vibrationally than you were before you spent that money. And then you are putting out that vibration around money, and you actually feel worse, even though you have the thing that you desire. You're now figuring out how to pay it off, and you're like scrambling and you're like, oh my God, and you're freaking out. And so that tracks even more scenarios like that. And so budgeting and manifesting are very tied together, because you do want to pay your future self. You want to make sure that you're always giving back to your future self, because you earn the money, you get to keep it. But it's not a matter of hoarding it, and it's not a matter of spending it all. It's like creating this nice balance where sometimes Brennan and I, you know, where we currently are in our life, sometimes we will fly coach and sometimes we'll fly first class. And it's just asking us, like, in this instance, could we actually invest the difference into something right now that will create even more financial abundance in the future? But if we're like, no, we really, really want to enjoy this, like we're doing this for celebratory purposes, or it's a really long flight and we know we're going to be miserable at the end of it if we don't do the first class thing, then we'll do the wealthy now. And so it's like always coming from that filter of, in this moment, do I want to pay myself now or do I want to pay myself later? And just like kind of seesawing between the two, like understanding that there's going to be seasons sometimes where you are a lot better at saving and investing, and seasons where you just want to, like, you just want to enjoy your money, because why else would you attract money into your life except for enjoying it and allowing it to expand your opportunities and allowing it to give you more choices to do the things and to give the things that you want to give.
Love that, honey. That's awesome. It's like that ebb and flow. So beautiful.
Yes.
Kathrin, thank you so much for being here today. This was amazing.
Thank you.
And obviously, I always ask this. We have your link in the bio, so if anybody wants to go check you out, they can go to manifestationbabe.com. But where else can people come and stalk you and learn more about you?
Yes. So manifestationbabe.com is like my hub where you can find courses and free things and all kinds of resources. That's also where you can find, just because we're on the topic of money, if you guys have any interest in like a money manifestation academy, I am opening up Rich Babe Academy at the end of January, which I'm super excited about. You can put yourself on the wait list now. So if you go to my website, manifestationbabe.com, you'll find it in the courses tab. And then you can also find me on social media, at Manifestation Babe on Instagram. I have a Facebook group, Manifestation Babes. And then you can also, I mean, you can literally type in Manifestation Babe anywhere on the internet and I'll pop up. So
awesome. Kathrin, thank you so much for being here. Everybody, thank you for being with us on the journey of the last 12 days. It has been awesome. Have a Merry Christmas, and we will see you in the new year.
Thank you guys. Love you.